This is real. We'd get more subs for sure. Drama pods. People just like spitting their whole life out there so people can just like voyeur it.
Should we start a therapy pod called the Therapod?
Yeah, dude. I'm sure
is there one?
I'm sure that is just like what was Spencer's thing? His health thing. What the health?
Yeah. That's like
dude, Therapod is a dinosaur.
Yeah, that's why I was like, should we call it the Therapod? But there is two of them actually.
Oh, well then we'll be the third and we'll call it the Thirdapod.
Thirdapod.
People are like, why is it called that? We're like, we're the third podcast called Therapod. You're like, but we're not called Therapod. You're called Thirdapod. You're like, exactly.
They're like, we didn't put that together. And you're like, yeah, but now that you know.
So sit down and listen to us talk about therapy that we're completely unqualified to discuss.
I have an undergrad in psychology. I think we're good.
I did history, so I'm pretty much halfway there. Okay. Study of human behavior. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
On this week's sode, we're feeling very Olympian. Game Informers no more. EA let AI make all its characters in College Football 25, and layoffs are back. You've just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
And we're doing therapy. We're talking about our feelings today.
Oh, no, we're not with you guys. That's the Therapod.
You guys don't want it. You guys have to subscribe to our new podcast, the Therapod, also known as the Thirdapod.
You'll get there. Don't worry about that. Also, you said we're feeling very Olympian. Is that like Greek gods?
No, it's a line from Cool Runnings. I'm feeling very Olympian today.
Oh, wait, you're gonna have to try that again because that accent was all over the place. One more time.
No.
That was not Jamaican.
Yeah.
I need JD Jamaican accent.
I won't do it.
Probably good call.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, our news this week is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies. Go to cravecookies.com. Check it out. They got a new menu every week. Although, right now, we're trying a new menu every 2 weeks. So it's the same menu as before. No spoilies. We have nothing to offer you here. In fact, we've been hitting up our sponsors. We've been saying, okay, well, if you're not giving us a sneak peek of the week, what do we get to give our listeners this week? And they said nothing.
Trent gave us the bird. He flipped us off.
He just sent us a selfie of him flipping us off. It was the strangest thing.
Okay, I just watched the first episode of The Boys, and he sends this lady a picture of his butthole.
Beehole.
That's what Trent did to us. He sent us a beehole.
Send us a bee shot. You don't want to see Trent's balloon knot, trust me. So, same menu as last week. We've got a chocolate chip Biscoff Explosion, the one that has cookie butter hiding in the middle of it. Cookie Monster, the blue one, turns your poop blue. Carmelita, which is actually it's actually got oatmeal or like oats in it. It's fucking good, dude.
I love an oatmeal cookie.
I wish, it's really good. The Crave cinnamon roll, and then the chilled cookies and cream. And we're on the second week of these, so all our bakers have had 2 weeks to practice. They're going to be on their best behavior. It's going to be good.
All the Instagram cookie eater have really been liking that chilled. The chilled one. So
the chilled cookies and cream tastes like a deconstructed Oreo that you're trying to make for a fancy cooking competition. That's like kind of where it's at.
Deconstructed Oreo cookie. Yeah. Like, would you just put the frosting on the outside? Like, I don't know, it's just two things.
But the frosting has Oreo crushed up in it. You're like, okay. And then we crush up Oreos and put it on top. You're like, whoa, what's happening?
We're just doing it. Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, they're doing too much. It's doing too much. It's a good cookie. No, that's the one Jenna and I have like 4 of in our fridge right now. Don't tell anyone. So,
told everyone.
Go to Crave Cookies and get your cookie on. After 33 years, as GameStop's in-house gaming magazine, Game Informer is no more. Game Informer has been shut down, not by choice of theirs at all. In fact, everyone that was on the staff of Game Informer was called into a meeting last week with GameStop HR and told they were being laid off and that the magazine was being shuttered. And one person was out on a work trip. Like, that's how sudden this was. It was just like literally like everyone get in this meeting and you see HR, GameStop HR on the invite, and you're like, oh God. But the whole website's gone, which is insane. To me, that's insane. That the whole website redirects to this post that they made, which it's really funny because when I read the post, I thought, wow, this sounds like AI. As a
and
writer,
then you read that quote.
Yeah, you can start to kind of see these things where you're like, oh, it's like AI writing is so hyper generic. It is like you can just see it, you can spot it. It would be like if a copywriter, it feels like 20 copywriters working on consensus to write a single line of copy, and that's what you get. Is like so hyper workshopped that you can like see it. And so of course they fire all the writers for this magazine, then they have AI write the farewell post. They shut down all of the work they've done over 30 years. They pull it all down and they replace it with just this little blurb of AI. Dude, it is dude, it's so in your fucking face.
Here's the thing, and maybe I just don't understand something. Again, why take it all down?
It's so crazy.
Like, why wouldn't you leave some of the stuff up? Like,
you've definitely already paid for hosting for the month. So
the
you're just being
hosting
spiteful.
cannot be a massive expense that GameStop is footing the bill for. Like, that can't be a massive expense.
This seems like a weird spite move.
It seems spiteful,
from
right?
Ryan Cohen, the shitposter CEO. Just a real bastard. Dude, I don't know.
And like it feels like they didn't even try. So GameStop's been like, okay, let's try all these things to be successful. With Game Informer, did they even like try to like change anything and be like, oh, we're gonna try this, we're gonna try this, we're gonna try this? No, they were just like, let's just shut it down and delete it. Let's just delete everything that they've done for 33 years.
Gone.
Not only that, like it also says like, here's why I think it feels spiteful, because they were almost done with like their next episode or next issue. Some cool stuff in there. Why not? Okay, they said they were 75% done with it. Why would you not be like, okay, this is your final issue, and let them at least do like a farewell
to its readers? Yep. Some people have had the
crazy to me that they wouldn't be like, hey, we're gonna do just like a farewell episode. This is an episode. I keep saying episode. A farewell edition. We're gonna do some posts on the website. Like, we're gonna really go out with a bang. And they did none of that. They just came into work and they were called into a meeting and were told, you're out of here, pack up, and then it was deleted. That's why it feels spiteful to me. This is like a culture thing that they just shut down decided to shut down out of nowhere.
And they always had this tied with their, for the most part, ever since GameStop acquired them, like 2002, they had this tied with their rewards program. So you sign up for the GameStop's rewards program, which is basically a subscription that like gave you a slight discount on pre-owned games. But the real benefit was that you got this magazine 12 times a year in your mailbox. And recently, I think it was like a year or two ago, they started to allow GameStop to sell the subscriptions independently. So being one of the last like print publications in the gaming world, they were in kind of a unique position to capitalize on that and be like, dude, like are you like a retro gamer or whatever, you still want a gaming magazine in your mailbox every couple months, like this is the one. And instead, like you said, they just did it all, they shut it all down. They didn't even consider, what like a farewell of any kind. This is so weird. This is so
this
dude.
was, and you should
Cohen, what an asshole.
The comments in here by the people who lost their jobs are like pissed. Like, none of them were like, oh yeah, it's been, like this one says, it was incredible 33-year of the run, and then GameStop pumps out this phony empty farewell message. I'll bet money was written by AI. F you GameStop, and a huge F you to Ryan Cohen. Like, people are not like leaving on a positive note. They're like not happy at all. And I don't blame them. This is garbage.
This is such a shitty, but this is what everyone in the game industry has been trained to do. So this is what we do now.
Yep.
EA College Football 25 used AI to generate all 11,000 of its players' faces. All of them.
I don't know how I feel about this one. I have mixed feelings about this one, if I'm being honest.
The CEO, Andrew Wilson, was talking on the company's latest earnings call and said, quote, creating 150 unique stadiums and over 11,000 player likenesses couldn't be done without EA's deep history of being a technology leader and by our incredibly passionate and talented teams harnessing the power of AI and machine learning to deliver truly amazing entertainment. Only like 6 of those words mattered. He just pads out his own statement. I mean, if this is the only thing you do because your job isn't real because you're an overpaid CEO, I
Yeah.
guess you really got to pad it out. So it doesn't
No,
look
they also make bad decisions. They didn't know if you know that. That's the other thing they do.
so many bad decisions. Yeah, they didn't even make like the star players, like the big athletes, the big name ones. They didn't bother making their name. They're like they just used AI for everything. Which, if
Yeah.
I'm a developer at EA, I'm very concerned, or an artist or something. I'm like, dude, every single thing they're having AI do, that they can do, because he said usually games have like 10% of that many players that they're putting in the game, if that. Like FIFA probably has 1,000 people, and so they're like, well, it's so many because it's college football. So instead of like having, we're gonna hand make the big name players and a lot of the most the starters and all this stuff and let AI finish the third string kickers. They just had AI do everything.
Do all of it. So here's
Dude,
why I'm mixed on this. Like, part of me is like, yeah, I get it. Cause like it's a football game. And so you're not even seeing a lot of these guys real close
no.
up anyway. They got helmets on for most of it. There's a story mode somewhere. But even then, like so that's where I don't like the use of AI, like in the story mode. But like in the gameplay, I think I'm kind of okay with it. But, but the only caveat is then I feel like if they use AI if they're not going to pay an artist to create something and they're going to use AI to create a real person, like in a sports game specifically, because I could see this just being the norm now for all of these sports games, then they need to start giving money to the players that are being created.
Mm-hmm.
Or they have to have some sort of agreements with the players or the teams or something like that. They need to have something drafted up. Whereas like maybe the team has players sign an agreement before they join the team that like, hey, your likeness or something and you get X. They have to be giving something because they can't. What I don't like is them using real people's faces and just getting it essentially for free. That's the wrong part of all this for me. Because, yeah, you're not going to have all of the college football players and have an artist doing all of them. The game will never come out. Like, I get that, but you got it. That you getting all this for free seems very wrong. And they could be like, it's not free. We got the AI software that we've developed over time and stuff. But like at
Bullshit.
some point, you're not paying for this anymore. You've got it.
No,
I
I'm excited to see. I feel like in the next couple of weeks or maybe months, as people start to play this game more and more and see, there's got to be at least 100, maybe 200 players that are so fucked up. Like
that
three
just looks so
eyes,
wrong.
like a nose that's on the top, in the middle of their forehead,
Just
no
like everything's
mouth,
placed a little
like Neo
wrong.
from the Matrix. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like 6 fingers on one hand, no fingers, a club on the other one. Like,
They're
just
all wearing mittens because AI doesn't know how to make a hand.
yeah, just some crazy shit. Like there's got to be a handful of players that got missed in this that are just like complete rejects. And I can't wait to see who it is. It's
I
gonna
know.
be
I
like
can't wait to
The
see their
women's
faces.
players in FIFA. Like that's the same thing we're looking at here, and that was done with artists making them by hand. Imagine what gems AI is going to produce.
Yeah, honestly, if the artists are gonna give us that, then maybe maybe
Maybe they
they
do
deserve.
deserve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
earned
earned this.
AI to take their
Thanks
place.
a lot. Way to go, FIFA women's soccer artists. You're the reason for all of this. The first legislation in 20 years aimed at protecting kids online has passed the Senate and is now moving on to the House, where who knows what's going to happen because that's such a clusterfuck down there.
It'll just get denied.
Yeah, they're just gonna forget about it. This is two things you'll probably hear. Maybe I don't know if you listen to NPR. KOSA, KOSAN, COPA 2.0. COPA you're probably familiar with, sort of, because it's Children's Protection. Let's see, Children and Teens Online Privacy and Protection Act. There's a lot of things that are baked into a lot of online technologies today that are done exclusively to comply with COPA. But it's definitely it is an antiquated law, and technology has changed vastly since it was written. So this is being dubbed COPA 2.0, which is kind of like an update, which bans advertising targeting minors. It bans minor data collection on minors without their consent, which is like, oh, so you're just going to put an extra checkbox the kids are going to mash accept on because they just want to get into Fortnite.
They don't care. They just click A as fast as they can.
Yeah, a lot of these things seem pretty toothless. And then it also grants more control to parents over the content that their kids make. So it's, I don't know about COPA. And then KOSA introduces a, quote, duty of care for tech companies requiring stronger regulations for platforms aimed at children. So they're basically saying you actually have to try. You have to prove that you're trying to protect kids. And
Roblox, you have to try.
Exactly. Which I feel like is going to lead to open up a lot of potential lawsuits. Is where you can just point to this. This is semi-vague, and you're like, yeah, let's go fight this in court. Yeah, bring this on. Let's see, and we will prove that you failed your duty of care. I feel like it's just like a bare minimum stuff.
Yeah.
Like as parents, are you feeding your children? Are you making sure they're bathed and taking them to school? Otherwise, like, you might lose your kids. It's just like that bare basic minimum baseline stuff. And then the other thing that KOSA adds is that users have to prove that they meet the age requirement of the game. I'm really confused what that looks like. Like, what are you going to upload a scan of a birth certificate? What kind of identification does a 6-year-old child have in America? I don't know. It's like a birth certificate, right? As long as they have a fucking passport.
It's like the age verification thingies that they have for adults, where you have to take a picture of your face and like, yeah, you look like,
yeah, you look good. You look fine.
Yeah. And so that's what they're gonna do for the kids. Like, I don't like that at all.
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I have mixed feelings about this. I do think like something has to be done. You know,
but these laws are being written by like 70-year-old fucks that are asking Mark Zuckerberg in Senate hearings why their phone doesn't work. And he's like, I don't know. I do Facebook. Are you kidding me?
Like, yeah, but my phone won't turn on.
My phone won't charge anymore. What's up with that?
Can you get my phone to charge? And he's like, I don't.
Yeah, those are the people writing this legislation. They don't know their ass from a flashlight. So,
so the other part is, though, part of me, it makes me nervous, right? Because you see, like, China is like the extreme version of this, but like, are they going to get comfortable writing legislation around like online and video game stuff? Like, I don't want you in there. Get your dirty little fingers out of it.
Yeah.
And so like,
maybe that's why this seems a little toothless.
Yeah, maybe. But I hope this just
a little free market
door.
Yeah.
For them to do something else too. So
we'll see. It worked out great for China.
Yeah, they haven't gone back on any of their stuff. Dude, I can't wait till we get social scores. It'll be real fun to tank my social score on purpose.
Yeah, dude, just come on the podcast and play fart noises and sex noises and to see how low we can get our social score. See if we can get it like into the negatives. I'm like, yeah, Peterson, play it again. We got my social score actually got above 0 and I feel uncomfortable.
Get that score down.
Fuck,
and then people
score.
Start like thumbs up again. We're like, stop it.
Yeah,
do not listen to this podcast.
I don't give a shit. Just go buy another gun. In the least surprising finding ever, people playing Call of Duty played it less when they weren't playing against people at their same skill level.
Dude.
Man, there is some undercurrent here I will get into, but this is just a new white paper out of Activision about matchmaking in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. This year is when they were doing these experiments. They took skill-based matchmaking for a sample set, which apparently was 50% of the population. That's what I said, 50% of the population. Now, does that mean 50% of all the players in Call of
50% of the
Duty?
population of the world,
Which
I
is
think.
who plays Call of Duty. And then they took skill-based matchmaking for those 50% and deprioritized it. So you just like got matched with fucking whoever.
Just
And
anyone who queued up at the same time as you.
and people stopped playing Call of Duty. That sample set was like, well, fuck this game. It sucks.
I hate this.
And I dove into this white paper a little bit, but it started to read like an episode of Black Mirror because I
Always
realized
does.
they are just treating its player base like lab rats and then fucking with them to see what makes them leave. Like,
See what
keep in
they
mind,
do.
the white paper, the core of the white paper in this article and everything about it was that they're like, this is how we made them leave. This is how we upset our players. It wasn't like we tried X and it made them so much happier. It was like we tried X to try to get a negative outcome and we did. It was fantastic.
And we got a crazy negative outcome. This is like so good. This data
So we're
is
not going to do
definitive.
X anymore. It's like Starbucks runs an experiment where when you walk into Starbucks, they have a guy walk up to you and kick you in the crotch as hard as he fucking can. And then they're like, those people didn't come back to Starbucks. It's wild.
It's crazy. They came up and ordered, and we told them we were out of coffee.
And we
And
spit
they
on their
stopped
face
coming.
and they stopped coming to Starbucks. It's the damnedest thing I ever seen. What was the fucking point of this? What you guys have nothing better than to just like piss off 50% of your players to see if they would leave? You didn't try to do something positive. Like when they came into Starbucks, we gave them a free cookie and they came back more. It's like, you guys really like this is what you're doing? This is how you spend your fucking time and money? Activision, who has had layoffs and is working and is owned by a studio that just laid off like 20,000 people. This is what you're serious. This is what you want to be doing. This is how you want to spend your time.
And I love that they did this experiment because this is some experience. You're like, yeah, data is good. Let's get some data.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
interesting.
Unnecessary,
useless data.
Anyone could have told you this.
This was
like
their
major
proud
complaint.
finding was that by utilizing skill-based matchmaking, Activision said 80 to 90% of players experienced better end-of-match placement, stick with the game longer, and quit matches less frequently. Guys, have you never played Call of Duty? Because I played it in like 2006, and this is how I felt. If the matchmaking sucked, I was like, oh, I don't want to play this anymore. This sucks. The matchmaking's fucked. In fact, any multiplayer game I have ever played, if the matchmaking sucks, I'm like, oh, I don't want to play that. We keep getting matched. How many times playing League of Legends did we say, we keep getting matched with good, like crazy teams, and we didn't play anymore that night? This doesn't take a genius. This doesn't even take like a Forrest Gump style character who doesn't understand the concept of video games. Anybody could have told you this. This is insane to me that they did this at all.
They even tried. They even this was like a point. This skill-based matchmaking should be a given, especially if you're playing.
It's 2024. What are you guys trying to prove?
Even the most basic games should be doing this when they can. Because this has been Apex Legends' downfall. Apex Legends is a good game, and it came out super hot, did really well, and then you started to see the skill gap, and they're like, well, we got 100 people or whatever in the match, like we can't get everyone on a skill-based thing. And then I quit playing. I liked the game, and I quit playing because I would play games against people who were so much better than me.
Well, you were part of the control group, or you were part of the experiment, dude.
So it wasn't even fun. On the flip side, we started playing a couple years ago. We started playing PUBG again. We hadn't played for a while, and it was putting us against bots. And we're like, this game is so easy. This isn't even fun anymore. And that's a lot of online games. Like, if you haven't played for a while, we're going to give you a couple wins right out the gate to get you hooked. But it's not fun because it was so easy. It was like, oh, this is dumb. And that's how those guys, the good guys in Apex, felt playing against me. But like nobody's having a great time except for the types of people who would cheat, right, in a game. Those are the only people that enjoy this. So yeah, like nope, this was unnecessary. So weird that they
Just
did
Black
this.
Mirror shit, dude.
Yep. Yep.
The Olympics ditched the Mario and Sonic Olympics series to explore NFTs and esports.
Smart. Smart.
Dude, IOC just notorious for making great decisions, not born of like bribery and greed. They apparently this is Eurogamer was talking to Lee Cocker, who was a producer on almost every one of these Mario and Sonic. You guys remember these Mario and Sonics?
Yeah.
There was like a promo. They came out Vancouver with 2010, London 2012, Sochi, Rio, Tokyo 2020. Like every subsequent Olympics had a Mario and Sonic game. It was a good tie-in. It was fun. It was quirky. It was easy-ish to produce every 2 years. And according to Lee Cocker, he says, quote, the IOC is who he's talking about. They wanted to look at other partners at NFTs and esports. Basically, the IOC wanted to bring it back to themselves internally and look at other partners so they would get more money, which seems pretty straightforward. They're like, oh, no, we don't want to pay. We don't want to like split profits on these games. Like we want all that sweet cash coming into us and us alone. So they go and they find a company in South Korea, Enway, which they made some Power Rangers games, and they have made Olympics Go Paris 2024, a free-to-play smartphone-focused effort. That's and it has NFTs.
Yeah. No, that's the key.
Which is what everyone's been demanding here in late 2024. Everyone's like,
everyone's seeing the real value of NFTs now these
They're
days.
turning around, they're like, man, these are even more valuable than the Beanie Babies that I have in that Tupperware under my stairs.
I should check my baseball card values. I bet they've gone up.
Oh my god, this is so wild. So get Olympics Go. Olympics Go. That sounds like that's a good name. Olympics Go. That sounds fun.
And see if you
sounds
can
way
get
more
an
fun
NFT.
in a Sonic. Yeah, you can get your NFTs, and that isn't the whole selling point of an NFT is that like you could get rich. Like it's like a scam, right? Because like
yeah. So I don't understand why. I don't know.
They're calling them pins, so they're trying to capitalize on like the Olympic
different.
pin trading thing, but they're NFTs.
Ugh. I don't like it.
So, guys, if you collect enough Paris 2024 NFT pins, I will trade you for them for some cool Salt Lake City 2034 pins NFTs for Olympics Go Salt Lake City 2034.
Can I tell you one thing that I love about NFTs?
Yeah.
Most people hate them. I like them, and here's why.
Back
last couple years, anyone who was talking NFTs or like into NFTs or wanting them, you automatically knew
you don't have to
that
talk
person was super
anymore.
douchey.
Yeah,
you're like, oh yeah, I don't like this guy. Now, if someone's talking NFTs, it's kind of the difference. It's not like all the douchey guys have moved on to others. They just talk about Bitcoin now, because that's the only thing that's made any money.
Right.
Now, if people are talking NFTs, you just know they're absolute morons. So again, they're kind of like weeding themselves out. So I actually like NFTs because now I know, I don't even have to talk to that person because I know who they are.
It's like,
and it kind of do me a favor, you know.
You have a ton of flags hanging from the back of your truck. I'm like, that's tight.
Yeah, I know. I don't
have to talk to you. That's sweet.
I know who you are.
That's cool. Sweet.
That's
no, cool.
cool.
Thanks. Thanks for outing yourself. I appreciate that.
You don't even have to say what the flags are. I already know.
You know. Nintendo has revealed an updated list of its top 10 selling Switch games. And I'm here to get them.
I told JD, don't look at them. I want you to see. It's kind of like an internet game that people play. Like, oh, what's your top 10? What's the top 10? Whatever.
All righty.
I want JD to guess what they are.
I got a couple, I think. Okay. I think Breath of the Wild is an easy gimme.
Well, yes,
And
Breath
Tears
of
of the Kingdom. We're gonna do those two right off the bat.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is number 4. Tears of the Kingdom is number 9.
Let's see. Is there a Mario Kart or a Mario Party on there?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is number 1.
Fuck.
Yes. What'd you say? Mario
Mario
Party
Party?
is number 8.
Okay. Next up, I want to know. This is gonna sound really weird as a guess. Resident Evil 4, is that on there?
It is not.
Okay.
You only get 3 strikes. Let's see how many you can get before you get
Okay.
3 strikes. I just added that rule right now.
No,
So
I'm here for it. I just assumed there'd be a strike rule.
there's a strike situation. There is, yeah, always.
Oh man, this is a tough one for me. Because I've used my Switch primarily as like an indie machine.
Yeah, when you like, you're just not thinking the right types of things.
Hogwarts Legacy,
Oh, here, I'll give you a hint. They are all
Nintendo
Nintendo
first
properties.
party titles.
Okay. Yeah.
I might be in trouble for this one.
You can kick yourself when you don't think of some of these.
Yeah. Top 10 dude, like Minecraft's not on here. That's interesting.
Are you looking at it now?
There. No.
Oh. Nope. No, yeah. Nope.
No, I just think because you said
Yeah, they're all
that it's all
Nintendo
first party
properties.
titles, so I'm just checking things off that I may have guessed. There's like a Mario game, like a Super Mario game, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not Galaxy, is it? Is that the one that was on?
No. It's you want me to tell you? I'll give you that one. It's Super Mario Odyssey.
Odyssey. See, I was in the
That's number 5.
Okay.
Odyssey's number 5.
Luigi's Mansion, is that on there?
Nope, that's second strike. You're gonna kick yourself. And number 10 you'll never guess in 100 years. But you should get number 2, 3, 6. You should get most of these. You got 10 seconds to get your last guess in.
Well, I'm fixated on Mario, which I think is a mistake. But I'm trying to think. Oh, Metroid. Dread. Is that on there?
Strike 3. Let me tell you. Number 2, Animal Crossing.
Yeah, honestly did not know that was Nintendo owned.
Yeah, and I mean it's huge, right?
Right.
Number 3, Super Smash Bros.
That one I probably should have gotten.
Okay, number 6 and 7, you also probably should have gotten Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking Pokemon. That's so funny. I don't associate like the Switch with Pokemon, which is
isn't that
crazy.
funny? I didn't either. And then the last one I didn't think you'd get, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe.
I would have really
Isn't that crazy though?
expected a different Pokemon game. Like the Pokemon the Let's Go ones would have been my guess. If I had to guess any Pokemon game, it would have been Let's Go.
Yeah, Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet.
Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet is kind of weird.
Sword and Shield, I'll say, came out at the right time. It was like kind of a Pokemon lull, and they're like, hey, let's make a Pokemon game reminiscent of like some of the older Pokemon games with some new stuff in it. And so, yeah, I think that one just came out at the right time because even I bought that one. Like I bought that and I played the whole thing. And so
good for Mario Kart. Good for fucking Mario Kart. Number 1.
That's why they need a new. I know they're working on it, but they got to get a new Mario Kart out there, and they will for the Switch too. They already know.
Doing like expansion packs for this. That's all they've done is so many expansions.
Yeah. Switch 2 though is going to, and Switch 2, if they release it with the Mario Kart, and I've said this before, is just going to. I mean, it's already going to sell like crazy, but if they release it with the Mario Kart, they're going to make so much money.
I think I want to get a Switch 2 with Mario Kart and then just beat Jenna's butt. Just beat the brakes off her.
That's one of the things too is everyone plays Mario Kart, who even like non-gamers. So like we took our Switch to when we went up to a cabin with my family, and all the kids, the girls and the boys, all the teenagers and stuff would stay up at night playing Mario Kart together. And then some of the adults would jump in and play Mario Kart and stuff. So that's what Mario Kart brings to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, dude, I like that. That's a good list. That was a fun game. Fun
Yep.
little rain. Don't play no reindeer games.
Yeah, let's keep this fun. You ready?
No,
I'm sorry to inform
It's back,
you.
baby.
that time of the year.
Welcome to another company reset. Hope you've updated your resume. 'Cause you've just been laid off.
Yeah, you thought it was over. It's not over. We're actually warming
It's
up back
never over.
into the new late Q4 layoff season. This is the best layoff season of the year.
Q4 and
is really hot.
Q1 always
Oh,
are big.
baby.
So
These are the big ones. These are
here
when
we
you
go.
get in. Here we go. First up here, Bungie has laid off 17% of its workforce. That's 220 employees. Now,
17%.
remember, you are not having deja vu. They did lay off 8% of their staff in November of last year.
Oof.
They're down from, at that point in time, October of last year, they were sitting pretty at 1,400. Now they're down to 850. And if I've learned anything about video games, you make better games with fewer people. Right?
That is how it
And if
works.
you ideally got down to one person, you could be making games like Stardew Valley. So they've only got 849 left to go. This has been interesting to watch because people are just losing their minds
Dude,
on Twitter and elsewhere.
so
Past
pissed.
employees, laid off employees of Bungie, everyone is calling for CEO Pete Parsons to stick his neck in a guillotine. Everyone is tired of this guy.
Get him out of here.
He's got to go. Apparently, this idiot, he's just he won't take any pay cuts. But man, is he laying people off? The player support team was fully gutted, and now Bungie is focusing exclusively on Destiny 2 and Marathon. When did Destiny 2 come out? Destiny 2 came out in 2017. Imagine you find out there's tons of layoffs and your company's innovative idea to fix everything is to focus all your efforts on a 7-year-old game. That's it. We're going all in on this ancient piece of shit that is constantly losing players.
This is what the gaming industry does. They cannot. They feel like they can't take a risk on a new property, and so they just sit on their old stuff until they slowly die out.
Yeah,
because
super cool.
That's what happens to the old stuff. They don't stay hot forever. They die. They slowly die. You start to lose players because everyone else is releasing games. So, I don't understand this whole mentality. And again, this is why everyone, you should read this article with all the tweets. Everyone is calling for Pete's, the CEO, Pete. What's his last name? I can't remember his last name, but Pete Parsons. They're calling for Pete Parsons.
They want him to step down.
He should be gone. They're calling for him to resign.
And remember, Bungie was purchased by Sony back in July of 2022. So basically 2 years and a month. And they spent $3.6 billion, Sony did, on them. And now you've got these former employees out there saying that the studio was dead on arrival if that Sony deal didn't go through. It was like Embracer all over again. How many of these companies are just relying on the, quote, Bungie magic or BioWare magic or Riot magic to force out a game, these know-nothings that are leading the studio as executives and upper management that like I say know nothing, but they literally don't know anything. I imagine they just go home at the end of the day and sit on their couch and spit bubbles on themselves until it's time to go to work the next morning. Drooling, incompetent morons that don't understand the slightest thing about how video games are made. These are the guys that are in charge of the video games that are being made. And when and their backup plan, if they can't get the game made, is to go find very rich companies or rich people and say, give us money, and then we'll just hire more people and just throw more bodies at the problem until that doesn't work because the money isn't free forever. And then when everything implodes, you just fire a bunch of people and then just go back to blowing spit bubbles on your shirt.
So here's the problem. The real issue I have with video game companies and these C-suite people who are making these decisions, they absolutely 100% are just follow trends. They look, like you said, they look for a company that has been successful and they buy them thinking, yeah, they're just going to keep making us tons of money. When often what you're seeing is that ship has sailed a little bit. Bungie's not the big powerhouse that it was 7 or 8 years ago, right? We're just like making a ton of money, big, making waves. People are talking about it. That's not really the case anymore.
Mhm.
And they just follow. That's what they do. They buy these companies that have been successful when really what they're trying to chase is these crazy just hits that come out of nowhere. The Pal World, the Valheim, the gosh, what I can Helldivers too. Like
Mhm.
what they want is that, but what they're doing is buying a studio who's already made their hit. And they're like, "Okay, let's do it again."
And they
And we're
won't
like,
invest in it
dude,
either.
we're 8 years out at least until we can make another one of these games. Realistically, it's like a gamble, right? It's like it's like them buying lottery tickets because the news comes out that somebody hit big on the lottery and like, dude, I gotta play the lottery. And then they
It's like
start
buying
buying tickets.
Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, it's like buying Bitcoin right now. It's up, and they're like, dude, it's gotta go up again. We gotta keep making. So these guys are just chasing trends, and then they're realizing that's not making money. And like, when are they going to realize this is a bad business model? If you want to make it big and hit that big hot game, you got to take some chances, especially on some of these smaller studios. You
Or
can't
you have
just
to
rely on the
invest a
big guys.
ton. Like I saw a thing that Genshin Impact, which everyone wants to be the next Genshin Impact, they spend $200 million a year on development costs. Like, yeah, they make
It's
billions,
expensive.
but they spend fucking money, and everyone wants, like you said, Pal World. They want this huge billion-dollar hit with 40 people making it. And dude, few and far between. And if you do manage to do that, it's because you're doing something unique and innovative, not just trend chasing.
Yep. So
So
also the other part of this story, which I have to mention because I love so much,
Mhm.
is because there was stories on it and you saw like tweets about it.
Yeah.
Is this CEO guy Pete? He also buys a lot of cars online, and over the past year or something like that, he spent like
Since the Sony acquisition, which has been 2 years, he
years.
spent
He spent
$2 million on classic cars.
on cars while they're laying people off. And I get it, like he's probably got a lot of money because he's been doing this CEO job for a long time. But it is
That's
the
a good
look is
look.
so bad. And there's even a tweet that's like, 2 days ago, Pete invited me over to his house, this
To see
lady,
his
to
cars.
go see his classic cars, and then she got laid off 2 days later. Like, these
It's
guys
just
are so
psychopath
blind
stuff.
to, like, just the optics of everything. Nothing matters to them.
No.
That's
And they'll
why
go out and release an AI written statement about how much they feel bad for it. And I'm really feeling the loss, and we're trying to get everyone severance. And he wrote the last layoff, he wrote some shitty tweet. I personally recommend any employees that were caught in this layoff. I was like, no, you fucking don't. And do you
yeah.
think anyone sees that tweet that's like a hiring manager? They're like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Recommended by Pete, I can't remember, Parsons.
Pete Parsons personally recommended you. Fuck off, you lazy shit. And then he's like typing that as he's browsing in the next tab for like a new Corvette or a
Yeah,
used,
he's
like an
buying
old
auction
Corvette.
cars.
What an ass. What a fucking asshole. And this last one on layoffs is that there are further layoffs possibly coming in Twitch. Now you added us a little late, so I didn't really go through it.
Essentially, Twitch is again not doing great, and Twitch as an organization,
constant layoffs, new rounds every year.
They have no tolerance for any risk or anything like that. And so if something is unprofitable, they're just
Gone.
like, get
Cut
rid
it.
of it. And Twitch is not profitable. So now they're predicting more layoffs at Twitch, which let's see, since March of last year, 900 people have been let go at Twitch. They did
Dude, we've
March,
talked about
October,
this
and
before, but
January.
what that feels like, I mean, you must feel like you're stuck in summer school, man, and all your friends have left. Like, the office feels weird. The Slack channel feels weird when you search for an old message from a coworker and their name's like that grayed out inactive status. It feels fucking weird. And that's 900 people, and they just keep jacking it up, and it's just the number keeps going up. And it's a constant reminder that your company that you're working at does not give a shit about you, and that at the drop of a hat will ditch you.
Like, you're probably gone.
What kind of work do you think somebody in that situation produces? Do you think it's their best? Do you think it's even like passable, or if it's just like the bare minimum because they're spending so much time putting their portfolio and other things together and constantly concerned that they're not going to know where their next paycheck's coming from?
Like, when
I don't
you
know
lay off,
what the thinking is on these layoffs, dude.
and
They
you
are
can't-
so out of control.
they're not going to be thinking like, oh, if I work hard, I'm not going to get laid off.
No, because they've
I do a good job-
demonstrably shown that has no impact on it.
Because 900 people they weren't all crappers. You know what I mean? It wasn't all a bunch of crappy
Like that
employees.
Intuit layoff where there were 1,800 people and they said they were all low performers, just kicking them in the teeth on the way out.
Dude,
crazy shit. I don't know what the fuck these people are all smoking. I think AI is writing all these things. They're writing all the press releases. They have fully turned AI to do, because again, I just have this visual of like the laziest fucking executives in upper management. Now they don't even have to do the bare minimum of their job, which is to write like poorly worded emails, honestly, full of typos that made you wonder, how did this person end up in such a high echelon of the workforce that they don't even know the proper your or the proper there to use in this email? Now they have AI to do it, and they're like, wow, man, so much more time for golfing.
So this makes me laugh, and I'll tell you, I think I might have mentioned this before, but my company, all the HR people are pretty excited because they just introduced an AI software for HR that will help them answer tough questions. Someone sends you a tough email, like with a tough question or an IM.
They are training their
people are like, this is awesome, because like it just give you ideas of what to type. And I'm like, guys, if you can't think of how to answer, because like we do get tough questions, none of them are that hard. None of them
here.
No questions we get are that difficult that a reasonable person can't just sit there and think for a minute and be like, here's how I should respond to this. And that, I mean, because I laugh because you're like, yeah, these canned, like super washed responses, dude, that is what my profession is known for, is these like HR messages are so washed that when I'm not joking, when I send an email with any personality in it, because I have to send a weekly email to like my whole HR team, and when I include any personality or jokes in it, I get 10 responses being like, this is amazing, great job, we love this email. And all you have to do is like throw a little joke in it and not sound like a robot. I don't like it. I don't like the way business is using AI.
So sloppy.
Just wait for it to get so much more
recursive now because it's training itself. Yes. It's run out of like other things, so it's just AIs are training AIs, and they're just getting dumber.
There's gonna be so many more statements that just don't say anything at all.
Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to the next year of layoffs. It's just gonna get dumber. Riblets are little meat chunks of news. We pour some barbecue sauce on them, so
I think I'm going to send this order back to the kitchen because we've only got 2 riblets, and just like you get your basket, and you're like,
you're supposed to
look at all this barbecue sauce, and you're digging around through the pool of barbecue sauce, and there's 2 little riblets in there.
Yeah, they don't give you a fork. You got to do it with your fingers. PS5 is introducing an Astrobot controller.
Okay, did you look at this?
Yeah, it was cute. I was wondering why you put this on here.
That's the 100% the reason. I was like, why don't we have more like cute controllers?
Yeah,
this is the cutest controller I've ever seen, because Astrobot. It's like a PS exclusive
PSVR type of thing.
Yeah, and it's just this little robot, and your controller looks like the robot. You're the light sensor in the middle, light thingy has like 2 eyes on it, and I was like, this is wonderful. We should be doing this more, because it just made me happy looking at it. So that's why it's on the riblets. It's a limited controller. If you like Astro
It's
Bot, you
gonna
gotta
sell
check
out.
it out.
Yeah, it
You
looks
gotta
super
check
cute.
it out.
And then Yakuza Like a Dragon had a teaser trailer that was released.
Did you see this?
This is
Did you watch it?
Yeah, the Amazon series or Amazon
Yeah.
movie? What
So
is
they're
it?
doing a series for Yakuza Like a
Well, this
Dragon.
just gave me tattoo PTSD because that's basically all it is a close up of someone getting a tattoo the whole
I
time.
did not like that part of the trailer.
That's
I
like
was
the whole trailer.
I
What are you
don't
talking
want to
about?
see that.
Yeah, just
Like it's like
you
slow
don't want
too.
to
It's
feel
not
it,
like
dude.
it's like like going in fast.
Uh-uh.
It's like real slow, and you're like,
It's
I
not a
don't like
tattoo
that.
gun. It's just someone getting stabbed
But what I did like about
like a
this,
dragon.
I was watching it and I was like, I do want more Yakuza shows. I like this. I like that kind of vibe. And I played Yakuza Like a Dragon. You remember I played this game, and it does have a good story. And it's like a guy who was working his way up through a gang, a Yakuza gang, and then he gets like blamed for something bad that happens and gets kicked out and almost killed, and then he finds himself just like homeless on the streets in the city, and he's got to
Yeah,
work his way back up. And I was like,
very
I think I'm
GTA.
I think I'm into this. Like I think I'm
Hmm.
into a series about this. It could be really good, like the drama behind it. It could be like real gritty and gross and like I don't know. I was watching it, I was like, yeah, I think this is a vibe that I'm in for right now. And so I don't know. I liked it and I'm interested. I'll probably watch it because I watch a lot of
Amazon's
the
been
stuff
doing pretty
Amazon
good with
does.
adaptations
Yeah.
lately. I mean, Invincible, The Boys, Fallout. Like Amazon seems to be on a pretty good run, so maybe they do a good one with this one. We'll see.
Yeah. This could be good. This could be good. So I'm interested. That's why it's on there.
Kudos.
Kudos.
Kudos. Kudos.
Kudos, positivity, shout outs to things we like. I don't have any kudos. Everything is terrible.
I've
this
got
week.
2.
Good. Make up for it. What do you
Yeah.
got?
So first one, I went down to a sushi restaurant down in like Taylorsville or something. I don't know, in Utah somewhere. And anywhere, because funny, because like if you ask people from Salt Lake, they're like, yeah, anywhere north, that's like Ogden, whatever. It's like Ogden. For me, anywhere south, I'm like, yeah, it's all Salt Lake. I don't know. It's just Salt Lake somewhere. And so I was into Salt Lake somewhere. And
Somewhere.
I went to this sushi restaurant. It had great reviews. So I was like, I'm gonna go check it out. It's called Chopfuku.
Mm-hmm.
A small place, like in a very unassuming location. And so I was a little worried, but we got in and there was like, we were a little early because we were going to go see Hamilton that night. And so I wanted to get there early so we could get to the location early. And so we go to dinner. They let us right in and hand us a menu immediately. I kid you not. I am not exaggerating. There were 20 things on the menu that I wanted to order.
Oh no.
I could not decide. Even the appetizers, there's probably 8 that I was like debating, and that's not typical. Usually, especially at sushi places, I kind of know what appetizers I want. They had a hot appetizer section and a cold appetizer section. So I asked the lady, and she gave me like 3 or 4 recommendations, and 2 of them I'd really been looking at, so I got those.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. Both of them, we got these like crab puffs, so they're just like fried little triangles filled with crab, and they were awesome. Served with some, it wasn't like typical sauces either. Served with like a honey soy glaze type of thing, but it was like clear. And then we got this peppered tuna, and it was just like raw pieces of tuna peppered again with like this little glaze on it. Incredible. Then we got 2 sushi rolls. One of them it was super interesting because it had several different sauces. One of them was a honey wasabi, which sounded super interesting.
Honey wasabi slaps.
And it was delicious.
Yeah. They have that. Remember that fried fish place I told you that uses like sushi grade? They have a honey wasabi sauce for their fish fish and chips. Holy
dude,
God,
that was the first time I had it, and because I love wasabi, but this wasabi didn't hit so hard that you like couldn't eat it.
No, it's real mild.
Was into it.
Yeah,
I
honey
was
wasabi
into
is
it.
amazing with fish.
So that roll was great, but then we got this roll that the lady recommended, and I was looking at. It was called Best in Box. They bring out this wooden box, pretty big wooden box, sealed. and they come. She sets it on the table, slides the top off, slides
and
it off.
cat comes out.
Smoke, just smoke comes out. It's a roll, and it's not
Smoked.
smoked fish, but they smoked the whole roll, and it just had like the essence of like, and it didn't smell like it smelled like if you were
wood
like
smoke.
wood smoke. It was delicious.
Yeah.
And it had just the essence of it. Amazing. Again, fantastic. All the reviews online said this place like ordered their fish in from the coast daily. They had like fish come in. So a lot of their rolls had like catch of the day on it, fish of the day. So it's just like fish of the day, and then the rest of the roll was described. And so amazing, delicious. I'm definitely going back because I was very impressed by this place.
Yeah, it's
and
right
it wasn't
down the street
super
from Charlie
overpriced.
Chicken Fingers.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Because I do want to go there too.
Yeah, it's like literally like half a block away.
Like very unassuming location.
You drove past Charlie's on the way to it.
Dang it.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, anyways, really liked it. Chopafuku, if you're in the area, check it out. If you like sushi, check it out because it was outstanding, legitimately outstanding.
That's cool. Jenna and I might have to hit that up.
And then I've got one more kudos for my boy, Snoop Dogg. I got to say, because I've been watching a lot of Olympics.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, he has done it. I don't know how, but he has done a complete 180. If you remember, Snoop Dogg started off as like gangster, a legit gangster in Compton, selling drugs in a gang, rapping. And now Snoop Dogg is
He's good friends with Martha Stewart.
People say Snoop Dogg is America's grandpa.
Ah.
So he is at the Olympics. I don't know if you saw this, if you've probably seen this, but he's at the Olympics. And everyone was like, why? At first, they were like, why the freak is Snoop Dogg there? And like, because they were made a big thing of it. They're like, oh, Snoop Dogg. And he's going to be like our commentator, like he's doing stuff for the Olympics, like part of it. He's not just like there for funsies. He's like part of the Peacock programming. And he's in the stands with the families of like the Americans competing. And he is just as excited as the parents are, just partying with the parents, so excited for him. He's cheering. He's always got some kind of shirt on, and he'll like zip down his jacket and show his shirt. And like everyone loves him. Everyone, all the old ladies love Snoop Dogg. And there's like a tweet that a couple people have sent me. They're like, my mom was telling me how much she loves Snoop Dogg, and I had to remind her that she grounded me for buying one of his CDs.
Yeah. Everyone loves him now.
He's America's grandpa. And if you look into Snoop Dogg, like some of the stuff he does behind the scenes, he really does like a ton of humanitarian stuff. Like that football movie that I watched and talked about for a minute several months ago. Like he's put so many people through football in like these trouble areas in California, and like tons of these guys have made it to the NFL and like college football and things like that. So he's actually like a good dude. Yeah, he smokes a lot of weed and he's not like shy about that. Even his Olympic pin has smoke rings, and they are the Olympic rings.
Oh my God.
Bro, Snoop Dogg, America's grandpa. Everyone suddenly just loves him. And honestly, he's been an absolute joy to watch. He's hilarious and just having the time of his life. Everyone's loving him. Dude, it's awesome. And like, good for him. You know what I mean? Good for him turning everything around. He's just this old dude now that like everyone loves. So good job, Snoop Dogg.
He just answers that question is like, what if somebody was just kind of like a violent, crazy person just did nothing but smoke weed all the time for the rest of their life, every single day? What would happen? Apparently it's Snoop Dogg.
And also, what if we gave that guy lots of money too?
Yeah, just tons of money and weed.
Like,
what do we do?
Oh,
where's that guy go?
Turns out he's like a pretty good guy.
Yeah,
like,
he just kind of chills out. It's kind of nice.
Is this our new healthcare plan?
Just get you fucking.
We don't give people healthcare, or we don't give mental care in the U.S. very well, and so maybe we just
bag
give
of
them weed and cash.
Yeah.
And like, see what you can do. Maybe you're the next Snoop Dogg. I don't know.
You're like 20, it's like 2035, and you're talking to your buddy, and you're like, dude, I just signed up for therapy. And he's like, yeah, me too. But what you're not seeing is that therapy has now been replaced with, you just get a pound of weed in the mail.
A gallon Ziploc
Yeah.
bag that is completely full, as
And you
full
just-
as it can
yeah,
be with
you're just
weed.
like, this is what we call therapy now. This is really cool. I like
Like,
America.
We need you. And they're like, how much do I smoke? And they're like, just all the time. I don't know.
Just
What are
you
you trying to say?
smoke until the bag's empty, and then you get more therapy. Are you kidding me?
Just keep smoking. Like, what are you talking about? Just don't stop. What are you,
You get a
like, if you're
therapy
hanging
bag
out with
every
people,
month.
smoke. If you're going to
Yeah.
bed, smoke. If you're about to eat,
You,
wake up,
if you just
smoke.
woke up, smoke. Duh. This is so easy. Therapy is great. I don't know why more people don't do it.
So kudos, Chop Fuku and Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Forget the metaverse. We're going IRL.
IRL. Unplug.
Plug into real life.
Plug into the real world. IRL.
IRL is when we compare in real life things to video games.
Yeah, because
And
everything
we're
we have to compare to food
on
or games.
Brand. We are talking Olympic stuff. Olympics.
It's happening
things.
right now. The Olympics, guys.
Yeah. Here's my knowledge of the Olympics. Cool Runnings and the 2002 Salt Lake City Winter Olympics. Full stop.
Oh, I watch a lot of it. I got Peacock, and we just have like the gold medal alert channel on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like there'll be like 4 events showing at one time, and they're like they put the audio on for the one that's closest to ending, and that's how I like to watch.
So it's
the
like
Olympics.
NFL Red Zone, but for the
Yeah,
Olympics.
and I'm just getting
Finally.
all sorts of sports, just random stuff. So, yeah, that's my Olympics.
So
experience.
we've got a couple things here. Kind of just go down the list. If you've got any others, shout them out. We'll do those. But the first one up here appropriately is the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. My mom actually volunteered at the opening ceremonies at the Salt Lake City Olympics. It's kind of cool. They did this thing where the attendants, when they walked in, they handed you just like a random white styrofoam ball, like a squishy white ball. It wasn't styrofoam, it was like squishy, and they were all different sizes and things. Some of them were like the size of a basketball or bigger, and some were like a golf ball size. And then at one point during the opening ceremonies, everyone just threw them down the stands like an avalanche. And
nice.
My mom stole one of the balls, and I kept it, and then it got yellow. It just yellowed, and then I threw it away because I was like, gross. So that's what I know about the opening ceremonies.
That's wow.
And I know that there was one in Beijing that made everyone super scared because everyone is just banging the drums, and everyone's like, man, they're going to take over the world now.
If they can do this,
what
else can they do? Yeah.
Taiwan, look out!
Here they come.
They got drums.
Wait, you don't know about this year's opening ceremonies and all the controversy?
I did see that. They did a thing that was like a play on like a Greek thing, and everyone's like, no, that's the Last Supper.
It looks like the Last Supper kind of, and there's like a bunch of like
even though there was like 50 people, they're like, that's just like the Last Supper. Jesus and the 48
why is
disciples.
Jesus a blue guy with his balls hanging out? Did you see that? His balls hanging out.
Man, that's how I learned it.
So
Jesus was always hanging brain.
Dude, I think in the Last Supper painting, that's part of it. Like 3 or 4 of them just have some balls hanging out.
The Pope walks in and he's like, what's that? He's talking to the artist that he commissioned. He's like, hey, what is
like, isn't that, I thought that was,
is that his
is that his scrotum?
I don't think we can.
Like, he's like, isn't that a part of it? I thought that was a part of it. Da Vinci's like, I don't know why.
That's the first part I painted.
Like, when you asked me to paint this, like, I knew that was going to be in it, but I actually had to do research for everything else. That was just, I knew that was in it. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that.
You think the Romans were worried about covering that up after they nailed nails through his hands? I don't know.
There was scrot all over I just thought that was, everyone did that. I don't know.
The Pope's like,
I'm doing it right now.
I like a big portion of the painting. Just
listen, Pope, I'm leaving it in. I'm leaving it in. Okay, you commissioned me. Now go away. I'm leaving it. So I think that's how it happened.
Oh, so
okay. The opening ceremonies. What are they?
Yeah, the opening ceremonies. My mind went to one thing,
Okay.
and it was like, what is a pre-game celebration, I guess. And for me, that was eating snacks and pizza before you have a big gaming night. Because
Okay.
that's always the first move. I mean, some gaming nights you come and you sit down, you game a bunch, and then the pizza comes.
For some people, it's just as good as the game's night itself.
But for most of the ones, like I actually had a really cool gaming night with Jeff a couple months ago with a bunch of dudes some of I hadn't played with since high school, and that's like 20 years for me. I'm old as shit. So it was so fun, and that was the first thing we did. Is we
Thanks.
like caught up. We just hung around in Jeff's kitchen eating pizza, eating snacks, and drinking soda, and out of solo cups. And I was like, dude, I'm fucking back. Like,
I'm back, baby.
I'm back. And that's what it felt like. Cause like once we all were like, all right, we're all full of pizza, we all pad downstairs in our socks and we just boot up Smash Brothers or whatever. But we were all like that. So for me, that's the opening ceremonies, is getting all loaded up on pizza and shit
That's good.
right before you go and just have a big gaming session or a
So
game night.
Let me tell you what I think is the opening ceremonies. The opening ceremonies is the ESRB. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
It's
I'm
just
here.
there.
I'm on board.
It's just there. Honestly, not that many people care about it anymore, except for a few old people and
Mhm.
people who just want to get mad about something.
Yeah, why they're always getting mad.
They get mad about the opening ceremonies and like that was tacky or that was like, and you're like, who cares? Nobody cares. I didn't watch it. I haven't watched it for several Olympics now. You know, the only people that I know that watch it are like boomers.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only people who care about the ESRB anymore. Cause like, I don't even ask. I'm like, I don't care what the rating on a game is.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, that's what the opening ceremonies are for me. It's there, right? Has to be
I
there.
just don't care.
But yeah, I don't know if anyone cares that much anymore.
Okay,
There's
how
like
about
some people that do.
the Olympic torch?
Okay.
Which, again, for the Salt Lake Olympics, it was the coolest fucking thing. It was such a big deal if you knew somebody who was like carrying the torch for a little bit. And I don't know about you, you couldn't go into a dentist office or somebody's house without seeing like a replica of the torch in a shadow box hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
I know exactly. If you showed me 20 random torches and you were trying to fool me, I'm 90% sure I could pick out the Salt Lake City Olympic torch.
Wow.
Just out of a lineup. I've seen it that many times. So, what's your Olympic torch, Peterson?
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna like mine very much then. So my
Are you
Olympic
coming
torch,
at the Salt Lake City Olympics? Because otherwise, I don't give a fuck. Like, let me tell you what. That's where
no,
my loyalty to the Olympics.
I don't
begins
live
and
in.
ends.
I've never lived in Salt Lake City, Jonathan. And
well, then you
so-
better not come after our Olympics.
And during
we
the
did
Salt
them
Lake City
good.
Olympics, I was actually still in Vegas, and so I
How many
didn't.
Olympics has Vegas hosted?
I don't like real ones or like strip club ones.
The stripper Olympics. The pole events are always hot.
Dude, they're pretty good at those. No. So the torch for me is that new hot game style, game genre, game
that
theme.
was mine. That's
And here's
exactly
why.
what I fucking put.
Here's why. Everyone passes it around until finally the big one hits, right?
Mhm.
And they light the big torch. They light the big bonfire thing.
The Fortnite, the Call of Duty.
The big one hits. And then eventually it's the Olympic torch is lit for a few weeks and then it goes out, like they extinguish it, right? And then it's out. And then that's when Blizzard and Amazon and Riot come in and try to copy it. But that's what it is for me. It's just that new hit thing, comes in hot, everyone does it, pass it around, something big happens, and then it's over eventually.
Yeah, there's always a new. I feel like the torch is always being handed off from like first-person shooters to like real-time strategies to like MOBAs, and MOBA handed it off to Clash shooters, and Clash shooters handed it off to Battle Royale games, and their Battle Royales in the process of handing it off to like roguelite or whatever possible games that may be the next hit. And who knows if it's going to be like Helldivers or something. But yeah, that torch is always being passed from one fad to the next in the gaming industry.
It doesn't stick around with one person for very long.
All right, you introduce this next one. You were so delighted about this. You explain it to the non-Olympians.
In this Olympics, there was a I love it so much. There's a pole vaulter who he did not have a successful vault. He went up and he came down and he knocked the pole off of, the pole that you
This
vault
guy is
over.
hung like a
He knocked it
horse
over with his penis.
with his horse dick.
His giant package hit the pole and knocked it
You
down.
see it, dude. You
It is
absolutely
very
see
obvious what
a
happens.
slow motion fight between his penis and the pole, and the pole straight up loses.
Dude, his package just legit hits. It's just his package too. Hits it, that thing
And that's
falls
it.
off. So what? And I had to bring that up because that was maybe, besides that and the Turkish shooter guy, funniest
the
things in
Turkish
this
shooter
Olympics.
guy is great. Thanks to who explained it to me on our Discord. But oh my gosh, that's so funny.
He is my number one favorite.
Guy looks
thing
like
to
he's
come
in
out
his
of this
backyard
Olympics.
shooting pigeons.
He does
It's
not
just-
care. On the silver medal podium, I don't know if you heard this. He says, Sharon, because he just got divorced. He recently divorced. Sharon, if you're seeing this, I want my dog back. On the podium. This guy is the best
rocks.
human. He's a Turkish guy. He's my
I want my
favorite
dog
person.
back.
Dude, anyway, so what is getting disqualified because your dong knocked the pole off?
This is easy. This is getting flamed by people in a multiplayer game saying you're cheating or hacking because you're doing so well. You aren't cheating, you aren't hacking, but everyone is so mad. You're killing them so much. You're beating the shit out of them that they start claiming that you're cheating, hacking the game, or otherwise like taking advantage. And you're like, nope, I'm just that good. I didn't jump 27 feet, but look what I'm not gonna have any problem at the Olympic Village later tonight. Let's just put it that way. Well, bust in some cardboard beds. Or I saw a guy that was sleeping on a park bench. Whatever. This guy's getting it.
He's getting it. He is getting it. Mine is, look, something, it could have been good, but you just couldn't keep your dong out of it. Could you, you French video game executives? That's what it is. It's these video game executives that keep getting in trouble because they can't keep their dong out of it.
In their fucking pants.
Dude, yeah. And I put French video game executives, but it could be anybody. Blizzard.
Yeah, the French ones are leading the way.
Yeah.
Dick first.
Could have been good. So I'll introduce the next one too.
Yeah,
I
do
put
this
on
one
there
too, because explain this to me.
Yes, I will. Okay, so 3v3 basketball is an Olympic event. And if you've watched it, you will know that it is the stupidest Olympic event.
Is this a non-Olympic event too, or is this only the Olympics they do this?
Horrible to watch.
Same court?
Half court.
What?
It's played on a half court.
Wait,
JD, it is
it's shorter with two baskets on either end, or it's just a half? Like
no. It's a half court, one basket, half court. It's half court basketball. It looks like, I kid you not, the exact
like at the rec center
basketball you would see at any gym across the United States. Rec center, church ball, anything. Like, this is what it looks like. And
this is so fucking dumb.
It's so terrible. So this is why I got to put this in there, because I was watching
flag football in the Olympics next.
Probably. And on the US team has Jimmer Fredette on it, who, anyone from
he's
Utah
not on
knows
the five player team. He's just on the 3v3.
No, the 5-player team is like actual good guys, like NBA players.
Jimmer just hucks threes.
Jimmer has been playing in Europe for a while, and he was popular in Utah because he went to BYU and he was like really good.
Jimmer,
like 15 years ago or something like crazy, something like that. And so that shows the level of talent they have in this. So did you have something for this?
Yeah, I put when a traditionally top-down game is set in third or first person. So I'm thinking like a MOBA that's first person, or like Smite was like a third person MOBA, or when you take an a real-time strategy game, which normally looks like, Age of Empires or StarCraft, and you make that first person or third person, like Brutal Legend, that was that Jack Black one.
Yeah,
it's just like kind of the controls are just kind of awkward and weird. Or like tower defense games. I know there's a new multiplayer game or whatever coming out that's kind of a tower defense style game, but it's third person shooter. It just feels a little different, a little out of place.
Well, you lose like the strategy aspect of it,
but you're losing like a big chunk of the part of the strategy, which is the map. You can visibly see most of the map. So that's what I put for that one.
So for mine, I put this 3v3 basketball is like when devs leave their current studio to start their own studio. So they leave their AAA studio, start their own studio. At first, you're like, dude, this could be pretty cool. And then they flop every time. They make a mid-tier game in a dying genre. And I'm talking about specifically, I can mention one, Stormgate. These Blizzard devs that came out and they're like, we're gonna make an RTS in like the old fashioned that you guys loved it, and
so glad Trent's not on.
This game is not doing well. It is getting panned constantly. People are not overly excited about it anymore as they were. And honestly, most of the time, these guys come out, and we've reported on a bunch of them. Like, oh, here we go, some devs from this studio. These guys have been making great games for a long time. They made their own studio, and they disappear into nothing. So that's 3v3 basketball. It's just like these has-beens who think, like, dude, I was good at basketball one time, and they came out and they played this game, and you're like, I don't know what I'm watching, but I don't like it. Why am I watching this?
Last one is the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. Or ABC World of Sports. What is for me the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, that the yin yang of competition was never more apparent than in League of Legends. No game we have played before or since has felt worse when you lost or better when you won. And the reason I think I stopped playing is because you only won like 20% of the time. We lost so often, but man, and there's these huge long game investments, 45 minutes to an hour. And sometimes like it was like on the edge of your seat the entire hour, and you barely pull off the win right at the end, and they almost beat you. And it's just like you're both hammering on each other's base in the waning seconds of the game, and you just barely pull off the win. That high, unmatched. I mean, never got it in Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm, which I preferred, thought it was a superior game, but even the craziest wins we got weren't even in the same neighborhood.
We did have some pretty good ones, but
crazy.
Yep, I agree with that. I even thought about League for this one, but I went a different route,
and
I kind of tied them together. So I related the thrill. How did you put it? The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat as the gaming industry in 2021 through 2024. First, there's all these big victories because this is the way we reported it. All these studios getting bought up by big studios, giving them money, and we're like, here we go. We're gonna start getting some games out of these guys. This is gonna be sick, and we're all excited, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like victory for the gaming industry, like great things coming. And then they shut everyone down. They laid them all off. They shut them all down. And now studios that we were once excited for, completely dead. This is defeat. So the agony of defeat is what we saw the latter part of
we just got so hyped. We were all riding so high. We thought we
won. We thought we won.
Yeah.
And now we lost.
Well, we're losing, and we're like on a 5-year like slide, and we're only the first year of it.
By the way, speaking of which, I saw a relay in the Olympics today. The men's swim mixed relay where they have 4 guys going and they all do a different type of swimming, and they do a relay. We have never lost that event ever. The U.S. has won it always in the history of the Olympics. We've never lost since like the 60s or something like that when they introduced it. We lost today. We got we got silver to China.
Oh.
So that's the agony of
pack your bags, folks.
Because we took silver. Silver's great.
No.
Not for this. Not
First
when you
loser.
Always win and you lose, because China has this swimmer who is amazing. He's so fast. It's wild. Anyway, I have one more. The Olympics themselves, JD. The Olympics themselves are gaming conventions. There's so much to see.
Yeah,
so many things to see.
You're never going to see it all.
Go to. But the things you actually care about are full, and you only see the crap. And I'm talking about when you go to the Olympics. Everyone who I know went to Salt Lake Olympics. They were like, yeah, we went. We want to go see some stuff. And we saw the women's hockey bronze medal game. Mm-hmm. And you're like, nobody cares about that. The stuff you want to see, can't get into. That's all like
Long
the panels.
lines.
At
Yeah.
the panels you want to see. Or if you want to go see a specific person, it's like, yeah, $120 to go talk to this guy for 8 seconds. So yeah, but what you end up seeing at these conventions is the equivalent of handball or 3v3 basketball. Which I don't know if you know what handball is, but it looks like soccer
Yeah.
or lacrosse, but they just catch it
They
with
just
their
hit
hands.
it with their hands. Yeah.
And they score like each team scores like 30 goals in a game. It's like, why does this exist? It's so easy to score.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Anyway, that's the Olympics themselves are a convention.
Okay. Well, if you guys ever have any IRL Olympic comparisons to games, make sure to jump in our Discord. We have a 3-Bit Gamer Show Discord, really awesome community there. I want to talk about the Olympics because Peterson's all about that shit.
Dude, I've watched tons of it. So I'm ready to go.
Cool. Let's move on.
Dice of Destiny.
All right. Dice of Destiny is this awesome game we play at the end of every episode. We roll a 6-sided dice to see who will be rolling the Dice of Destiny. A 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. That person then rolls for the genre and the price, which is a 6-sided dice, and they find a game, pick it, play it, review it. Peterson rolled a $20 funny game. He picked a game called Ramen,
Ramen.
and he loved it. It was just
Okay, this is going to be a pretty short review because, spoiler alert, I did not enjoy this game. I thought I would. I did not. So this game was free to play on Epic Games Store. And I was like, JD, we should play it together. And then I played it one night, and that was enough for me. So let me tell you about Ramen. Ramen has a very silly premise. Once you first load the game up, it does like this quick cutscene where your guy is watching TV, like a TV of like this competition happening. He's like a cook sitting in his undies at home. And then he gets teleported into the TV, Willy Wonka style, and he is now part of this competition. He has a giant pot of soup and his ladle, and all the characters are in their underwear and they have an apron on. So they're in their underwear, and they're not like, it's very goofy. So they're not like, ooh, that's a hot character with some boob physics or something like that. They all look terrible and they all look super goofy. So this is an arena style game. It's usually 4v4 battles or 5v5 maybe. 4v4, I think. 4v4, and you go in. Yeah. And there's a few different game modes. There's like a capture the King of the Hill type of game mode where you're going through the map, and there's a certain point that will pop up, and it's like a pot somewhere, and you have to go get in it and like protect it, and you score points the longer your team's in it. The other guys challenge you for it. There are throughout the map power-ups or abilities or weapons you can grab. So there's like a fish you can start hitting people with and you whap them harder. Or there's like a gun you can pick up that's like some kind of shotgun-y, cartoony shotgun looking thing. There's a healing gun that shoots a healing stream at your team or a damaging stream at the other team. And if you don't have any weapon, you're just slinging whatever's in your pot at them with this ladle. It does a little bit of damage. It's fast paced. You're jumping around, sliding, double jumps in the air. So it's very fast, but there is a little bit of like auto targeting system going on. So you just kind of aim in the direction and sling your soup, and you're probably going to hit them. So there's a lot of like damage. It's like you die a lot, and you're going and doing these things. There's another mode where there's a big meatball, and someone on your team has to go get inside the meatball and roll it to the goal, essentially. And like, that's how you score. And if people are in the meatball, you can throw your soup at them and sling it and kill them. So honestly, on the surface, like, it actually seems pretty fun.
Yeah, this sounds fun. And
It seems pretty fun. I played 4 games, and by the 3rd and 4th game, it was the exact same thing. And it was medium fun at best, because like the amount of weapons you could put in was what you could get were not that interesting. Yeah, you also have an ult, and there's a few different ult abilities you can unlock. And they're pretty OP, if I'm being honest. And so what I was finding is like we were playing these matches and they were extremely one-sided every time. Like it was not difficult.
Like
The
you were
difficulty
just beating
level
the shit out of
just
everyone.
smoking everybody on our first games. And it wasn't bots, these were like real people. And
Ooh,
it's just
they're
not
just kids.
yeah, it just wasn't hard. And so it wasn't maybe that's that matchmaking thing, just wasn't that fun. But the gameplay itself just isn't that fun because it is like if effectively it's a
slow.
shooter, and no, it's not. It's like too fast. It's just like zipping around, like throwing, just slinging. It's just chaos all the time, and it was sometimes hard to even tell who was on your team and who wasn't. Like with your color blind situation,
Oh,
JD,
I'd
you
be
probably have
screwed.
a very hard time. So I was just like slinging soup at everything that I saw, and like
Yeah.
sometimes I get a kill, and like I didn't. It just was very unsatisfying to play, and by the fourth game, very uninteresting. So that's what this game will come out. You'll play it a few times, like this is really fun, and then you won't ever play it again.
Yeah.
And so
And
that's what
it
this
doesn't
game
look funny. Was
stuff.
it funny? Did you chuckle?
It was supposed to be funny, you know, it was like goofy and silly. It was like fart sounds and like wacky stuff happening. No, it wasn't like funny like it was supposed to be, but they really fumbled, I think, on that, like making it like a funny game. The one thing that it I think was a little interesting at the end of the match, your team would win. There'd be 4 of you. At the end, then you have a vote you vote the green button for everyone to split the experience evenly, or red button. And if one person presses the red button, then you battle it out. And last man standing, it's just like you have one life, last man standing gets all the
All the
XP.
experience. How often did you battle it out versus split it?
3 out of the 4 times battled out.
Yeah, I would
And
assume that would always be the case.
yeah, it just wasn't. And so then it was like if you lost, it was kind of unsatisfying. It wasn't like, ha, I got it. It was just like, so I
Why
just
did I
played
even
that
say
game.
that?
Yeah, like I'm not, because there's like a leveling up system and like a battle pass type of thing where you're unlocking things, and so like you're just not getting the XP for it, and like
Wow.
kind
Yeah,
of
I hate
obnoxious.
that element actually.
And so yeah, I just be honest with you, I thought I would enjoy this game a little bit, did not enjoy it. Do not recommend. I predict this game will die quickly. It's come out kind of hot. I think it's going to die very quickly because it's not interesting enough to hang out. Some of the maps were so small that it was just constant chaos that you could like hardly tell what's going on. And even though you could, it was just like, I don't know, it wasn't very like there was no tactics or strategy. It was just like get in and sling soup in your undies. So
Yeah, no, this
Yep.
looks like I've been watching it on YouTube this whole time and
yep.
I'm bored.
Not worth, absolutely not worth. I wish it was. I really wanted to have some fun with this game. Not worth. Not worth for me.
Don't
No.
buy. Okay. So we got a reroll. Peterson has been playing nonstop every single week. So we're gonna give him the 1, and everything
Just
else
one
is
number.
me.
Okay. I'm number 1.
It's a 3.
I was kind of being like,
I was
it would have been hilarious if you rolled a 1.
What are we doing? All right, so now I got a 20-sided dice. It's me, and it's a 3 again. Wow, 2 3s. Interesting. Oh, it's interesting. It's a 2D game. I like that.
Oh, okay. That could be good.
So now
I feel like you always get the 2D one.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
kind of
weird.
weird. 2D is off, and platformer is back on the deck.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, basically.
So 2D, and then how much can you spend on it? You gonna roll another 3? If you do, we're going to Wendover.
I know. Seriously. Finally, we can go back to that hellhole. 4.
Okay.
So I guess $40 on a 2D game. That's literally any 2D game.
That won't be like any of them. There's
any of them.
Except for like a Nintendo new release. That's
yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, that's it. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Thanks to Dallin and Patrick for jumping in and hanging out with us on YouTube, guys. If you ever want to see us live or just watch us instead of listen to us, you can come check out subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Look at our beautiful faces.
You can see us.
You love it.
And you'll get even more enamored.
If
with
we
the
ever have
podcast.
10 people, JD has said if we ever have 10 people watching live at
Nipples.
once, yeah, shirts coming off. It's
Yep.
called the nip
the
so.
nip slip sode. All we need is 10 viewers.
You don't
live
learn to love nip
concurrently.
slips. You either love them or you don't.
And on that note, spin the Olympic theme. Dun,
Here we
dun,
go.
Dun, dun.
8-bit version
Beautiful. I
on the
love
video
this.
game.
Okay, well, before we get copyright struck or sued by those fuckheads in the IOC, I'm JD logging off.
And this is Peterson going AFK. There we go.
All right.